Hello guys, Robot1 here, coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video. And in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, we are basically going to be doing a duel replay for you guys. Now, this is my duel replay from the Luxury Card Games tournament, the team tournament where I was playing in with one of my teammates in Team Blackrose Dragons. We were up against Team Wise Guys, and this was the final game of the match because we were playing in the Iron Man system of that tournament. Now, what basically happened was in that whole match, in that whole bracket, was pretty much this is the setting of the tournament. You play as an Iron Man setting. You have 3 players in the tournament in that bracket, and it pretty much goes A, B, C, and both players have an A, a B, and a C player. Now, I was the B player in that team, so I ended up playing against this player right here, who actually was the last player on the team of the Team Wise Guys. Good team. They tried their best and they were playing quite well. A few hiccups here and there from what I personally saw, but hey, it could have been different in their minds. But they did play their best and they did play good. And pretty much our A player beat the first 2 players on the team, but then our A player actually lost and I ended up playing. So I thought, seeing as that match was so good, the match that I played against the B team player, the C team player of Team Wise Guys, it was a really good match. I would showcase the replay on my channel. So, yeah, but guys, if you wanted to see the actual live stream of this duel, please go check out the Luxury Card Gaming Twitch, where I believe the stream should still be up. So please go check that out if you will. But this is the actual match that I played, and honestly, I had a lot of fun. It was a scary match, it was a fun match, but let's get into it because I want to showcase this. So, pretty much, I won the rock, paper, scissors, so I was choosing who goes first or second, and let's go. So, I chose to go first in this instance because, well, we're looking at the we're looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! We're looking at the hands. And I actually opened a pretty good turn 1 hand. Now, it seems that we haven't drawn all our cards yet. There we go. Now, with this hand was very good. This hand was actually very nice because we actually opened pretty much Pudding Cess, and we also opened Gate Blocker with an unexpected die. So this pretty much meant we had our full, and we also opened Foolish Barrel, so we had instant access into our Block Dragon. So we opened very good in our opening hand here. So let's actually go into the actual plays to show you guys what happened. We went standby main phase, then we activated unexpected die. Now, our opponent had the Ash Blossom here. That wasn't good for me, but what we could still play the game. So what I did was I summoned the Pudding Cess, and I'm actually going to turn off the sound effects because I don't like listening to the sound effects. And what we did from here was we went ahead and made the Gallic Granite to be able to search any rock monster from our deck. Now, what we did here, we added the Adamacipators Researcher because the Researcher would basically allow us to get a free summon and also allow us to get into our Needle Fiber plays. So we just kept playing from here. We revealed the Researcher and we summoned the Researcher. Then we excavated 5 cards from the top of our deck. So we go ahead and go through the 5. And I believe we basically whiffed it. We didn't get any rocks from that excavation. So if our opponent pretty much had anything else from this point on, I could be really screwed. So it was a pretty scary time at that moment, because if my opponent had any out, like literally had a Ghost Ogre, an Impermanence, anything along those lines, I would lose at this point. But let's keep going to show you guys what happened. So we whiffed it, so we couldn't really do anything. So what we went and did here, we just got, I believe we went ahead and made the Crystron Halki Fibrax, or Needle Fiber. I prefer to say Needle Fiber. And then we went ahead and summoned an O-Liner from the deck. Now we just basically did normal Crystron Halki Fibrax combo. So we want to go ahead and make the Link Ross. We then go ahead and summon 1 token, turn these 2 into a Metal Marcher so we can get the free summons. We go ahead and summon the O-Lion token, Metal Marcher Chain Link 1 and O-Lion Chain Link 2, just so we can't get Ghost Ogre, just in case he does have the Ghost Ogre and is holding it. Then we went ahead and summoned the Researcher back from the grave, and the reason we added the Researcher back is because this card would guarantee us to be able to summon a Seeker from our hand. So we kept on going from here, and we summoned the Adamacipators Arisen Raptite. We then go and use Wrap Effect, and we go ahead and excavate the top 5. Now, our opponent we did actually hit good. We hit the Seeker, so we got to summon from our hand. So we got to summon the Seeker, which would pretty much allow us. I did make a slight misplay, though. I forgot to put the cards from the Banish Zone back into the main deck. It was fine, though. It was a mistake on my part before saying before saying Seeker effect. I should have put the cards back, but I was in the moment at the time. I was thinking about like 10,000 players ahead at this point because I needed to make a board that would be able to stop my opponent's board. Now, I actually knew what my opponent was playing because he actually dueled against player A, and that was good knowledge for me because if I went second, this would have been a very hard match for me. So we go ahead and excavate the top 5 cards with our Seeker, and we actually excavate droplets. But the really good thing here is we excavated a Kokimeru Guardian. So we basically got to go into Kokimeru Guardian and give us some free negate if our opponent has something like a Nibiru or something, just in case, because you never know what our opponent might have. So we go ahead and put the 5 cards back into the deck, making sure they all go to the bottom of the deck, just making sure we keep the procedures in the correct game state so we don't make any mistakes. So from this point onwards, let's see what happens, because I actually can't remember the entire match. I just remember being scared a lot at times, just in case he had a floodgate, he had a hand trap, and we actually used the Foolish Barrel here to go ahead and send the Block Dragon to the graveyard. So now, I believe at this point I did actually summon the Block Dragon. Yep, I banished free from the graveyard to summon the Block Dragon, and I think I made the Appaloosa. So we go ahead and link those into, yes, we made Appaloosa here, just with 4 negates, because that would absolutely stop our opponent from being able to do anything with that. So he goes ahead and does that. We had an Analyzer, a Seeker, and a Researcher to our hand. All monsters we can currently summon, because we have not used the effects outside of Researcher. So we can't summon all of them, but we can summon the Gigantes, and we can summon the Seeker, because we actually haven't used the Seeker's effect to summon from hand, and we've still got the Risen Raptite on the board. So we go ahead and banish 3 more from. We go ahead and banish the Seeker from our graveyard. Sorry, to summon the Gigantes from the hand, and then we go ahead and link the Gigantes and the Guardian into an IP Masquerena. We go ahead and then banish 3 from the graveyard, summon the Block Dragon, and then I pass turn. Now, I know my opponent is playing Eldlich at this point. I know they're playing Eldlich. I don't know what else is in their deck other than Eldlich cards. So pretty much the board that I tended to make here was I made the Appaloosa to essentially make sure my opponent could not have any sort of monster effects, such as losing the Golden Lord on the board, anything along those lines. I made the IP Masquerena to make a Nightmare Phoenix or Nightmare Unicorn, respectively, to be able to get rid of some of their back row or put stuff into the deck. And I kept the Risen Raptite on board, and this was something that was a really big play for me, I think. I kept it on the board for the pure fact that if he does discard the Golden Lord, then all I need to do is negate a Appaloosa, and then I can just activate the Risen Raptite's effect when he attempts to send a spell trap from the field to the graveyard to summon it, so he can banish it, because we actually had the Metal Marcher in our graveyard when we were going through our plays. So we can just go on to our opponent's turn. Now he draws for turn, and this is where I find out he's playing Numerons. Now, I didn't know my opponent was playing Numeron from the other 3 games that he played. We did not see any Numeron cards in his deck, I believe, because I can't remember seeing a single Numeron card that entire match. And this is when I started to get really scared, because I was worried if he has the Numeron cards, he could actually go far. So what I did here, I used the IP Masquerena, sending the Block Dragon and the IP to the graveyard to essentially make a Nightmare Phoenix to point at Appaloosa, so I can discard one of the cards in my hand, destroy the Numeron network, and get a free draw as well. So we also have Battle Protection, we have Battle Protection, we get a free draw, and we also get to search free from the deck. So pretty much, we go ahead and we draw. We had the Doki Doki, we had the Seeker, and we had another Analyzer just for good measure. So now this is where we go ahead and we draw 1 card for the Phoenix. I don't know why this is a bit laggy there. We drew an Adhara. Adhara's doing nothing, but sadly our opponent had a second Numeron network. Now this was upsetting, because if he got really lucky in having the second Numeron network, and that really did kind of hurt. So pretty much, he sent the Numeron Calling to the graveyard to be able to summon Numeron cards from the extra deck. So he summoned all 4 of his Numeron monsters, I could believe. So he summons that. He summons 1, 2, 3, and 4, I believe, if I remember correctly. And yes, he summons all 4 of the Numeron monsters from his extra deck, and then he actually did something interesting. Instead of making something like an F-Zero or something, he actually made a Megaclops. Now, For me, when he summoned this Megaclops, I realized I could not actually out this Megaclops. I was really in a position where I could not get over the Megaclops, so it was really hard for me to actually play around it. So I had to draw something like Impermanence or Forbidden Droplets to actually play around the card. So what happened in this game? What happened from here on now? He actually, the Numeron gate went to the graveyard because it was banished during the end phase, or it was destroyed. I can't remember. I believe it was banished due to the effect of Numeron. Yep. And then it goes into my turn. Now I can do a lot of things in my turn with this hand because I've got block dragons, I've got researchers, I've got analyzers. So we're just actually going to let the hand play out, and I'm gonna say things as we actually go along. So let's see where we go from here. If it wants to play, because I was thinking quite a bit here. It was kind of like a tough situation because I didn't actually have a way to out the Megaclops. So we're actually going to fast forward a bit here. So we go ahead and normal summon the Doki Doki. We go ahead and use the Doki Doki and summon the Analyzer from the deck. And then we go ahead and actually activate Analyzer's effect, banishing the top 5 cards from our deck. But we actually got hit by Called by the Grave here, which stopped us from being able to do anything. So he goes ahead and I go ahead and summon Seeker, excavate the top 5. And I believe I hit. Yep, I did hit. I summoned the Guardian over the Magnet Warrior because obviously it's a negate. But it doesn't really mean anything. And because of fast forward, it goes a bit too much. I'm going to just keep clicking next play because I feel like it's an easier thing and I can explain stuff as we go along. So we go ahead and put the cards back into our deck after summoning the Quaking Merit Guardian off the Seeker effect, because the Seeker was the one that actually summoned the Quaking Merit Guardian. Or doing this in the draw phase as well. Good job, me, doing this in the draw phase when I should have done it in the main phase. So we go ahead and put these back into the deck, and then we go ahead into our actual plays. So now remember, I can't get over this Megaclops. I have nothing in my deck right now that will allow me to beat over this Megaclops. So pretty much what I had to do is I had to foolproof my board. So what I did was I made the Risen Dragite to essentially guarantee that I have a spell and trap negate on the board to prevent my opponent from doing anything along those lines, just so I could guarantee that I had some sort of protection from what my opponent is capable of doing. So we go ahead and make the Dragite, and also it means that he has to either attack the Dragite or he has to attack something else. And I literally admitted to my opponent here, Mega's pretty broke because I can't actually, I couldn't actually out the card. So what we go ahead and do from here is we go ahead and link these two, and we make Asua, the Earth Immovable Charber. Now, I don't see a lot of people playing Asua, but I really like Asua for the fact that it's just one Earth and one other monster. So it's just a really free monster in the Adamancipator deck. So that's why we're pretty much playing in here. Now, we're going to go ahead and summon the Block Dragon from our graveyard. I don't know why I summoned it in attack mode. Oh no, yes, I remember why I summoned it in attack mode, because I'm going to link it off. So we go ahead and actually link it off and make a Nightmare Unicorn. Now the reason we made the Nightmare Unicorn is because Nightmare Unicorn will actually give me the ability to draw 2 cards during my draw phase every turn, and he currently does not have a way to out these cards, even though he has the Megaclops. And this is something that happens later on in the game. He can't use the Megaclops to summon the Xyz monsters back from the graveyard because they weren't correctly summoned from the extra deck. So what we basically did here was we activated the Nightmare Unicorn targeting the other set. He goes ahead and activates it. It's a Conquistador, and the Conquistador actually gets shuffled back into the deck because it can't stay on the board because of its effect, because it's still the same card due to Nightmare Unicorn's effect. So we go ahead and put that back into the main deck if Dueling Book wants to actually work properly. Okay, come on. Then we go into the chat. We go ahead and says draw phase. And then in draw phase, no, it's still my turn, sorry. We go ahead and actually summon back the Block Dragon, and then we go into our next turn. So, it's now his turn again. Now, this is where a lot of stuff actually happens, and I'm going to fast forward a bit here because he goes ahead and takes my Appaloosa by summoning an Xyz monster from the graveyard. Now, a lot of things happen here where the board just went crazy, and he just made misclicks after misclicks after misclicks. Pretty much, though, he was unable to actually activate the effect of Megaclops here, and I didn't even realize this at the time because I was thinking so far ahead, because there was so much that I could potentially do, but he was unable to summon the number 1 because it was summoned through Numeron Calling and it was not summoned through an Xyz summon. Now, you cannot special summon an extract monster from the graveyard that has not been correctly summoned. So pretty much here, he got a PE minor here, procedural error minor, so he was unable to do that, and he actually got a minor. Now, there were a lot of illegal activations through a lot of the matches, mainly due to our opponents not knowing some things, us not not knowing some things. So it was like misplays here and there, but they were illegal activations, so there were this. And this is an official tournament with a prize support, so with big prize support, so it was making sure to keep really well run. And Luxury Gaming are doing their best, even though they don't have a proper policy document yet. So we just go into, so he just pretty much attacks my Nightmare Phoenix. I take 2100, and we go into the draw phase, and I draw 2 for Unicorn, which is really good because we actually drew the Infinite Impermanence, and we just straight set the Imperm, and I pass turn because next turn is going to allow me to get over the Mega Clops, allowing me to just win the game there. So he goes ahead and attacks my Nightmare Phoenix again. Now, I don't know why he actually chose to keep attacking my Nightmare Phoenix, because he could have easily attacked the Block Dragon or the Adamancipator Risen Dragite, because the Dragite is the thing that's going to be able to negate his spell and trap cards, and the Block Dragon is just protecting from being destroyed by card effects. So I was thinking quite a bit, why isn't he just attacking the Risen Dragite when he could, like, just like when he attacks the Raptite, but nonetheless, he's making his plays. We go into the draw phase on my turn, so I draw 2 for the Nightmare Unicorn, and we actually drew a Forbidden Droplets here. So pretty much what I literally just did is we went into the main phase, I activated Droplets, I discarded any the Block Dragon in my hand, negated the Mega Clops. We go into stuff, it's negated, and now I just pretty much play off. He attempts to Imperm. I think it was the Risen Dragite, yeah, because I activate Dragite, but then I literally just negate Dragite with I negate with the Imperm with Dragite, just so he can't stop, just so he can't do that, and then I literally just go ahead, excavate the top 5. I believe I excavate exactly 2 rocks to be able to, yes, I have excavated exactly 2 rocks to get rid of the spell and the trap card on the board. Now I kept targeting both. I think he didn't realize that they don't go off the board, that they go off the board because I revealed 2 rocks. But nonetheless, they went to the hand, and then we literally just switched all our cards to attack, and we pretty much won there. So I'll play from there. So basically game 1 was a very back and forth game, I would have to say, where I had a board that really was hard for the opponent to break, but it wasn't an easy game whatsoever because the Megaclops was just really hard, and Megaclops being such a powerful Xyz monster in the game, that literally can't be destroyed by anything but Xyz monsters and can't be affected by anything but Xyz monsters, well, monsters that aren't Xyz monsters. It made it really hard for me to actually get around this guy, but literally what we did here, we just attacked with the Appaloosa and everything else, and we won the game there. So he had me at defeat. We went into the game 2. So pretty much, the game 1 was a very good game. It was a very strong game, very fun game. I really admit, it made me think quite a lot because game 1 was probably one of the harder games of this match, for the pure fact that I really did not know where to go from there when he had the Megaclops, and I really just had to get lucky on like RNG. Like if I kept drawing 2 and I kept seeing everything that isn't an Impermanence or a Forbidden Droplets, my opponent would have most likely won that match because I have no way around the Megaclops. So that was just one of the scarier outcomes of the game. So let's actually continue going and go into the next game. So we go rock, paper, scissors. He actually chose for me to go first. Now, that was a big surprise for me. Now, I think I can see the reasoning behind making me go first. He made me go first for pretty much the reason that, oh, I'm going to side in all these going second cards, so if I make my opponent go first, it's going to hurt even more. But making me go first didn't really matter, because literally I just played off from this. So I activated Unexpected Die to summon from the deck. He actually had nothing to chain to this, which I was really surprised about. So pretty much, I just summoned the Angel Trumpeter from the deck, then I normal summoned the Doki Doki, made the Needle Fiber, and we literally just started going into the Needle Fiber plays. So we go ahead and use the O-Lion. Literally, we just did normal plays in the deck. We just go into the Link Ross from here, summon a token, go ahead and make the Metal Marcher. Metal Marcher then just goes ahead and summons a token, summons a monster back. We summon a token. Then we go ahead and summon Raptite, and then we go ahead and use the Raptite effect. We go ahead and banish a ton of cards, and we summon out the Seeker. Then we go and put cards back, like just standard Adamancipator plays. Like I don't need to go into too big detail about this because it's like we all know what the deck does. Like this, we all know that this is what the deck does. Now, so we're gonna keep going from here. We just go ahead and we excavate cards from the top of our deck. And we keep going. Like, literally, we just keep going, we keep going. We go ahead and excavate again for Seeker Effect. And I believe I whiffed. Yeah, I didn't actually hit anything here. So I was unable to summon. And my opponent did get the knowledge that I was siding in a lightning storms. Now, obviously, I'm going to side in lightning storms because he's playing Eldlich, so it makes sense. But it's just really good. It's a really good card to side in. So pretty much, yeah, we're going to keep going through this. We go ahead and put the Pudding Cyst back. We put the Seeker back. And then I believe what I did from here was I just linked 2 into an Asura. Now, if I remember correctly, that was actually a misplay on my part because I did something. I think I did something, and I was like, "Oh no, I shouldn't have done that." I might be thinking wrong. Oh, that was the game. That was the game 3, or whatever. So we go ahead and summon the Block Dragon, and then we go ahead and link all 3 into an Appaloosa with 3 negates. So we go ahead and get the 3 negate Appaloosa on the board, and we actually use the Block Dragon to go ahead and search us some cards. So we get the Gallic Granite, we get the Gigantes, we get the Seeker, and we also get the Researcher. Now what we did here, obviously, was we summoned the Researcher. So if it's going to let me use the Researcher, yep, and then we banish the top cards, and we did excavate a Gate Blocker. Now I believe I summoned the Gate Blocker here, and the reason why we summoned the Gate Blocker is because this card just says no to Numeron Network. It says he can't use the Numeron Network, which is pretty much half of his deck at this point, so it just says no. It really does just say no, so I felt like putting that in was a really good choice. Like, honestly, Gate Blocker this format is just a really strong card in literally any Adamacipators deck because of one, it stops any Endymion Pendulum shenanigans, which exist and are really annoying to deal with, and it also just stops a lot of other really stupid things from the field spell zone and stuff like that, and your opponent can't target anything other than the Block Dragon as well, so if they have an the Gate Blocker, wait, oh no, I just realized something. My opponent might have cheated. Okay, we'll get to that when we get to that. So we go ahead and do that because I've got to read a card. And then we go ahead and we just banished 3 and summon the Block Dragon back, and I believe I just set the impermanent past him. So it's our opponent's turn. They go ahead and go make my main phase. He activates the Cursed Elderlands. I said that's fine. I don't really care if he got the Cursed Elderlands effect to add a Golden Lord to hand. It really doesn't matter. Like, on the activation, I could have stopped it. And for some reason, he liked to send the Golden Lord to the grave and then add it to hand. I mean, it's a way of doing it, but you could just add it straight to your hand. But yeah, so we go ahead and add the Golden Lord to his hand. He then goes ahead and goes Think, and he activates Forbidden Droplets. Now, this is something I need to read, because I think this might have cheated. So send any number of cards from your hand, field, to the graveyard. Until the end of this turn, half the attack of monsters that affects your opponent controls also negate their effects. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response. Okay, so it's not. Pretty much what my brain thought for a second there, because Gate Blocker has an effect that you can't target any other monsters, then any other monster but Gate Blocker. So I didn't know if Droplets targeted, but it doesn't. It literally just says you discard cards to the graveyard until the end of this turn. Half the attack of exactly that many monsters on the board. So it doesn't target. It's a non-targeting card. Makes the card even better, to be honest. So if you got the card, keep the card. So he goes ahead and sends that to the grave, sends 3 to the grave, a spell, a trap, and a monster, just so I'm unable to target anything. And then he just goes ahead and negates the IP, the Apple, and the Gate Blocker, so he's actually able to use stuff like his Numeron Imaging. And also, obviously, stop the linking away of the IP, the literally negating of the Appaloosa, stuff like that. Now, we go ahead and go continue playing. He's just viewing his deck. He's going to send that to the graveyard thanks to the Cursed Elderlands. He's just going to do the standard stuff from this point on. So, yeah, if it wants to shuffle, he goes ahead and uses Terraforming to add Numeron Network to hand. If I can continue playing the game, thanks. Come on. If he wants to continue. So he goes ahead and uses the Numeron Network, and now he just does the standard stuff. He sends the Numeron Calling to the graveyard. He goes ahead and summons number 1, 2, 3, and 4. If the game wants to stop lagging. It's every time on the shuffle, for some reason, it likes to lag. So summons 1, 2, 3, and 4 from the extra deck. Now, here's something I actually did not expect, and something that I made a slight misplay on. So we go ahead, he goes ahead and attacks the IP, that's fine. All of his monsters gain 2k, go up to 2k. He then goes ahead and attacks with the Numeron, one of the number 2, into my Gate Blocker. This puts them all on 4,000 attack. Now, I didn't realize they would go to 4,000 attack points. I thought they would go to 3,000 attack points because my brain forgot, oh, it doesn't double the original attack, it doubles the current attack. So pretty much what happened here was he goes against the gains of the tokens, he goes ahead and attacks the Raptite just so he can get rid of the Raptite, because the Raptite is one of the bigger problems on the board for him because he has the Elder Lord, the Lord in the hand, the Golden Lord, and then he goes attack, then he boosts all his monsters again, so they're on 8,000 attack points. Now, this is where I screwed up. On the attack of his number 3, I should have used the Infinite Impermanence to pretty much negate number 3 and stop him from being able to kill me. But what happened is, I took 4,000 thinking I would take 4,000 life points. Nope, I took 8k. So your boy lost that game because he forgot that they all double the original attack points. So that was a big misplay on my part. I did not realize that, and I screwed up big time when I could have literally just impermanenced it and survived. Now, we go into game 3, the last game of the match, and I'm going to tell you now, I was scared. I was thinking, oh no, if I lose this, it's going to be terrible. I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm not even going to be able to look my team in the face because I really didn't want to lose. I really didn't want to lose. And I opened really good as well. I opened Adhara, I opened Seeker, I opened Guardian, I opened Gigantes. I opened pretty much one of the most insane boards I had. So this was so basically I went super in. We used the Seeker effect. We pretty much just went as far as we possibly could with this hand. And you can see we put the Buster Whelp in. That was pretty much to counter like the Numeron stuff, to have more counters to that, just so he can't go ahead and OTK shenanigans me. And yes, if he has the Golden Lord, he has the Golden Lord, but I tried to stop him from having that option. So we go ahead and put everything back into the deck. And we go ahead and then I also accidentally put the Seeker to the top of the deck, so I said misclick and I put it into the correct zone. We continued from here on, so we go ahead and then linked, we go ahead and make the Needle Fiber, because we have the Quirky Mirror Guardian, so we don't really need to care. We then just do the standard players again, to summon 2 tokens. Now, the reason we're summoning 2 tokens this time is because I wanted to go into something different. I wanted to actually go into the Herald of the Arclight play, because the Herald of the Arclight play actually is a really strong play at times, but sometimes it's better to go into the Raptite play, because you need to go into it to be able to guarantee that you can actually go into other chains. So what we did here was we go ahead and use the Metal Marcher to summon the level 3 token, and we also summon the Metal Marcher, which is going to summon back the Olion. We go ahead from here, and we go ahead and make the Herald of Arclight. So we go ahead and summon the Herald of Arclight, and I believe my opponent had Nibiru. Yep, he attempted Nibiru here. Obviously, I Quirky Mirror Guardian that. I stopped that in its tracks before he can do anything. And from this point onwards, I just fully comboed off. And also the Nibiru was banished because it was being destroyed in the hand. And because of Herald of Arclight, any card sent from the hand to the graveyard is dead. It's gone. So pretty much what we did here, we banished the Guardian. We summoned the Guardian by banishing. We banished the Guardian to summon the Gigantes. And then we just go ahead and link the Olion and the Gigantes into the Raptite. Now, this is where I could have really just lost. I needed to go ahead and hit something. And luckily, we hit a Doki Doki. And we also hit Analyzer, because Analyzer, we can actually summon off it, and I just forgot that for a second. So we go ahead and summon the Analyzer. We put all these cards back to the bottom of the deck, making sure we have what we need to play the game. We're trying to survive. We're trying to survive here, and that's the goal. So we go ahead and put all these cards back, just so we can make sure that our opponent can't stop us. So we keep going from this point. If the game wants to, like Dueling Book's been a bit laggy, isn't it? And then we go ahead and use the Analyzer effect to go ahead and activate the top 5. We activated the Doki Doki, which was really good here, but we go ahead and summoned the Bait and the Magnet Warrior. Now, I remember why I summoned the Bait of the Magnet Warrior. I summoned the Bait of the Magnet Warrior for the specific reason that I could make a Gallic Granite. Because the Gallic Granite would essentially allow me to go ahead and Xyz summon into... go ahead and get to the Block Dragon to basically extend my plays even further. So we go ahead and put these cards back. They keep going back in. We keep excavating them, like just standard Adamacipators plays. I really wish Dueling Book had a better way to excavate with the Adamancipator cards, or just have a standard system for all excavating cards. But hey, it's how the game works. Like, they have it for the Spellbook Prophecy cards, but yeah. So we go ahead and go into the Gallic Granite. Gallic Granite detaches an Analyzer, and we go ahead and search the Block Dragon from our deck to our hand. Now, here's a bit of a misplay that I realized I did. When it actually happens. So no, I haven't done the misplay just yet. Now, here's the misplay. What I should have done was, I shouldn't have used the Link Cross. I should have used this token to link summon what I'm link summoning. Because pretty much, if I use the token is the most useless card on the board right now. So that was a big misplay in my opinion. I shouldn't have done it, and if I did use the token, it would have been such a better board. But it's fine, because we can still keep playing on. So pretty much what we do here is we search the 3 from the deck, and because like I was thinking here, oh, if I didn't use the token, if I used the token, I could have summoned the Seeker and then used the Seeker effect, stuff like that. But I believe I already used Seeker's effect. No, I didn't actually use Seeker's effect, did I? Or did I? I can't remember. My brain's kind of lost the track from before. But we just go ahead and actually here make Borrel's Savage. Now, obviously, we make the Borrel's Savage because the Savage is going to allow us to negate. We want negates at this point to stop our opponent from killing us. So, we made the Borrel's Savage here to get that additional negate on board. Plus, we also made it so we could go into the Union Carrier, which would allow us to get the Buster Dwell out of the deck. The Buster Dragon, Destruction Sword. So we go ahead and banish free, summon back the Block Dragon. And then we go ahead and link these two into the Union Carrier, which would basically guarantee that we'd have the Buster on board to prevent him from using his Numeron cards. So pretty much right now we've got 3 really good cards on the board, and I basically played around the Forbidden Droplets and also the Dark Rule No More if he actually has it. That was the reason I did this. I was trying to make as many different plays on the board as possible to essentially stop him from having so many different things. Now, you see, this is where the misplay really came in, because I didn't want to make the Nightmare Unicorn, but I had to make the Nightmare Unicorn so I could get rid of the token. And he asked if I could use the token. It was the O-Lion token, so yeah, I could. So from here, we go ahead and summon the Block Dragon back. We go ahead and use the Researcher effect in hand to special summon itself. And then we go ahead and actually link these two into an Appaloosa. Now, this could have been a 4-negate Appaloosa, a 3-negate Appaloosa, but sadly, due to my mistake, it was only a 2-negate Appaloosa. But from this point onwards, we go ahead and excavate 5 with the Researcher, and we excavate a gate blocker, so we literally just kept the gate blocker. And from there, we just put the cards back onto the top of our deck. As we do, we just put them all back, get them in the deck, and we made one of the most insane turn 1 boards in this deck. I was literally thinking so many different players ahead in this deck, where how can we get there, how can we do it? Because this was going to end up being a Block Dragon with an IP Masquerena, but as soon as I saw the Gate Blocker, I was like, no, I shouldn't do that. I should keep the Gate Blocker to stop Numeron Network. Just have another way to stop Numeron Network. So, it goes into my opponent's turn. He goes ahead and plays a Lightning Storm. Now, this was me thinking, do I really need to negate the Lightning Storm? I was like, no, I need to negate the Lightning Storm to prevent him from being able to stop me. So, he goes and does that. Then he goes into Battle Phase, and I'm like, okay, Battle Phase, he has the new evenly matched. I can stop that with the Herald of Arclight. So we were absolutely fine there. And now here's where I'm cheeky and I say, you got the second, because I was like, if you got the second, I kind of lose. Like, if you got it, you got it. And that's where he was like, nah, GG, I made the most insane board I possibly could, and because of that, I won the match. Now, I did make one slight misplay in that entire board where I should have just used the token to make the Aswat, then I'll be able to make a 4-negate Appaloosa, a 3-negate Appaloosa, but because I didn't, it still ended up really well. I just lost 1 extra negate, which could have been useful, I suppose, if you opened a much different hand, but nonetheless, I made a board that was really powerful. Now, this game was a very good match. This won Team Blackrose Dragons the entire round one match of round 1 bracket for the luxury gaming card tournament. So that was really good, and I really did enjoy this game because it was a game that made me feel scared. It felt really back and forth at times. When he made the Megaclops, I was really like, how could I out the Megaclops? And then game 3, it was just like, no, I'm going Super Saiyan. I'm gonna make the best board I can. And I just end up, instead of going to Super Saiyan, I go Ultra Instinct and make that insane board to just stop my opponent from playing the game. Now, obviously, this board could have been faulted really easy. All he really needed to have to stop this board from being playable was a Dark Ruler no more. And if he had the Dark Ruler no more, I would have 100% lost this match. But because he didn't, I was able to just play through it, everything, get to the point where I am, and really am happy. But guys, that's the match. Tell me what your thoughts of it are in the comment section below. Tell me if you're going to actually watch the Luxury Card Gaming Tournament. I believe our next match, Team Blackrose Dragon's next match, is on the 10th of August. So if you want to go ahead and catch that, it'll be 10th of August. I don't know the actual times that it's going to be on, but if you want to catch that, please go check us out. We will be playing in that match. But guys, that has been this duel. This was a really cool match. I really did enjoy it. Tell me your thoughts of it in the comment section below. Tell me if you think I'm a scrub because I use Adamacipators. Tell me if you think I just went full Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct, to make that kind of board. Or just tell me I'm an idiot for not activating the Imperm, because if I activated the Imperm, I probably could have won game 2. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Robot1 signing out. Later all. Whew, I loved that game.